So yes, this is
Alrighty.
a little bit of a question and answer session. So I'll leave it to you to speak.
Okay. Um, for those that are not aware, we are looking to do a little bit of. Sorry, sorry, that was an unwanted visitor, or not unwanted normally, but I'd like to keep it distraction free. So for Obsidian Fleet Day, we are looking to do Star Trek Adventures, but let's call it Star Trek Adventures Light. And the reason I call it light is because we're going to be using the Captain's Log solo RPG version of the rules, which greatly simplifies the original rule set. Um, Mainly because it was intended as a writing tool, but I see the advantage here is that it makes it a lot easier for newer players to come in, sit down, and pick it up very easily. In fact, I personally found it so easy, I was actually thought it was deceptive for a second. I'm like, no, it can't be that easy, but it is.
Okay. So do you have any specific campaign focus for it? Obviously, it's a one shot, but do you have any focuses? Is it going to have a theme or an arc or anything that's familiar to anyone?
Yes, in fact, it's going to be super familiar because I'm aiming for two, but that's also why I'd like to get a gauge on how many are going to show up because if I need to open up a third, I can. But we will be playing the first one in Star Trek: The Next Generation, and it won't just be playing in the setting. You will actually have the opportunity to play as one of the main characters. Um, because Star Trek Adventures has helpfully provided character sheets for all of our favorites. And so, as to eliminate the need for having to sit down and build your character sheet and do a session zero, because that can take a whole day, we're going to make use of what we know.
Brilliant.
And then we will also be doing Star Trek Enterprise next.
Which I'm excited about because this is my one that I've always wanted to do. So I'm excited. So if people are able to pick familiar characters, are they going to be able to pick them beforehand? Are you going to allow people to grab them beforehand and say, I want that one?
Yeah, that's the idea is that we get everybody there. This we see based on how many people are there and go around the table. Okay, who's wanting to play who?
Hmm.
If it's a smaller number, then I'm going. I my rough idea, and if there's enough pushback against it, I can back off. But I was also thinking, in a tabletop game, you have the game master, the dungeon master, and usually they just kind of speak as like, well, for lack of a better term, their cue. They just kind
Yeah.
of speak in their own voice. I was thinking if we have a limited number to leverage the captains, so Captain Picard and Captain Archer, as sort of an in-game GM voice, so that if you become stuck in your mission, you're not sure something, you have those moments like in the show where the crew confer with the captain and they're like, hey, we've run into this issue. Well, have we tried this? Kind of thing.
I really like that vibe. I really do. Okay. Is there any particular characters that you are going to need to be able to run the campaign? Is there like you're going to need, for example, the engineer, you're going to need the security officer? Is there anything like that that people need to be mindful of?
I am no. We are going to avoid that entirely. I know that the common thing as a tabletop RPG player is, well, you need to build the party based on the situation.
Okay.
That's not it at all. First of all, because I'm using pre-written Star Trek Adventures things too, just to kind of also make this a little easier on my end as well. Um, And two is that they are generally written in such a way to kind of give everybody a chance to do something. And um, even if there's like a hiccup and say the Enterprise crew, it's just Hoshi, Phlox, and T'Pol or Mayweather. There we go. Hoshi, Mayweather, and Phlox, and they come across an engineering problem. Then either we can have some more fun with them trying to overcome something out of their comfort zone, or if the dice decide they want to tell the story that nope, we're not getting through here, then I can leverage it of here you let the captain know, and then we can bypass, we can move along with this by just having an engineering team get you guys out of trouble if there's needs be, because this isn't going to be rocks fall in the warp core and everybody dies. I'm not
Yeah,
going to kill the crew of any
I
Enterprise.
am glad that we are doing an AU of this so that it's going to have no canon effects. Um, is there any specific technology, dices that anyone needs to bring with them? What do they need to do on the day?
um as long as they can do voice chat, we're good. Because we've as long as we've got a dice bot in here. Do we have a dice bot? I don't know.
We don't, but I can arrange it.
Okay, that's really all we need otherwise.
Okay.
And uh, otherwise, yeah, it's just going to be a lot more because the way Captain's Log is built is more. It was more built as a tool to just let you throw a quick couple dice and then you decide how the story goes.
Yeah.
Similar premise. Where that's really what it's going to be about is throw those dice and you kind of have more fun role playing than we're not so hung up on the dice.
Yeah, brilliant. Is there going to be a kind of a game tone? Is it going to be serious, like hearted, a mixture, anything like that?
I think is ultimately we want to have fun, of course, and we want to make sure everybody's in their environment that they want, that they feel comfortable in. And that's also too why I'm saying that the party pick who you want to play as. Don't be like, oh, I should bring, oh, we don't have anybody for security, so I guess I should play Reed.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't want to play Reed, and then they
Yeah.
just spend the whole time miserable.
Yeah.
We don't want that. And and have that challenge to yourself of like put yourself in the mind of the character you're playing as well. Like if you're playing as Jordy, don't and you run into some bad guys, how's he going to solve that problem? He's going to try to outthink his way through. He's not going to just like pull out a batleth and charge them like Worf would.
Yes, so it would be fun.
Exactly. So you want to have fun with it, and because I know in simming there's always that we don't want to touch the canon. We want to leave that to the professionals, so to speak.
Hmm.
This is our moment to be like, I get to I get to step in and wear the costume and play the character from the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. This is going to be full fun. Is there any specific house rules that people need to be aware of from you?
The big thing that we're going to make sure to keep an eye on is we want to make sure everybody's comfortable at that table. So we have the tools of like the uh, the green, yellow, and red alerts. You know, if we start getting into a subject that we're not comfortable with, I want people to feel comfortable to say, okay, we're cool. I'm good with it. Let's go. Or, can we kind of tone it back or hard stop? I don't want to, this isn't working for me, and we'll move on.
Okay,
Um, Player comfort, player consent, all of that is very important at any table, and especially this one.
brilliant. Is there anything else that you think anybody will need to know for this session on the 27th? Had to look at the date then. 27th. So 1 month pretty much today. Is there anything that you'd like to add?
Um, I mean, I can give a quick rundown of what like because I kind of give it in the generals, but like what is like maybe a quick ideas of like what some of this is going to look like.
Yeah, go for
If
it.
okay, um, so to kind of explain how the core game works is, you know, you've got two sets of attributes. One set's your like physical and mental acumen, and your other one is based in your familiarity with the various departments in Starfleet. So, con, command, security, engineering, science, and medicine. And the way these games work is you roll two 20 sided dice. And unlike in, say, Dungeons and Dragons, the lower number is what you're shooting for. So, where D&D, you know, you cry a little inside when you see those ones.
Don't
You
you
want one.
don't you just in D&D? Oh my God, the emotional damage I've had from my dices in D&D is unreal.
Oh yes.
So that's a little bit different. That it's the lower numbers you're looking for that rather than the higher numbers. So that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah, and and in the main game, it kind of gives you more of a hard outline of what skills to combine to complete a task.
Hmm.
In Captain's Log, it's a little more open ended, and so with that, as we're going along, it's because it's going to be a little more open ended. However, you want to reason combining the attribute and disciplines to and make your roll, and because you basically you combine your attribute and your discipline, that gives you your target number, and any number of dice that you roll under that is good. That's a success.
Okay.
So if you want to set it however you feel can make the most of it to maximize setting the highest possible number, basically, go for it. Just as long as you're able to kind of give a rough justification that we can all run with. I mean, if there will be those ones where it's going to be like, okay, that's. I don't think Commander Riker's trombone playing is going to come into play here, but
But we could have a good time trying.
yeah. So that, and even if you do, and even if you do end up rolling and failing, we're going to be trying to fail upwards.
Right.
So what that means is like, okay, you succeed, but at a cost. Like something might come back later.
Okay.
Um, your
That's different.
characters have. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that's different.
Yeah,
I'm trying to process this in real time. I'm gonna have to, even though I've been here now, I'm going to have to listen to this back so I can fully understand it properly. Which is good because this will be going up on YouTube. So hopefully everyone will be in the same boat by the time the sessions come around on Obsidian Day. So that'd be good.
yeah. And if there are questions after the fact, yeah, please feel free to hit me up because the more questions that get asked, then the more we can clarify things as we go. But and I'll do everything I can to explain as we go along too.
Mhm.
Um, the game also the main game tends to focus has the more conventional focuses of like your various talents that may impact some of your skills. Stress is what kind of like your health, um, equipment and stuff like that. Captain's Log kind of throws all that aside because it's kind of streamlining it.
Okay.
Um, combat is basically boiled down to three strikes and you're out for both parties in it, and you just kind of roll whatever you feel is relevant in that situation, to either pass or succeed. pass or fail. And then Star Trek Adventures has a thing called momentum and threat. Momentum is what the players get, and that helps them to do things like maybe adjust a roll to into a success or create an advantage in a situation, things like that. So you can further help yourself, you know, in any situation, building momentum. Whereas if things go, you roll basically in this, if you roll a nat 20, that builds threat, and that is things that's like my version of momentum as the game master. I get that built up and can potentially use that to throw you guys for a loop.
Okay. So yeah, this
Uh,
is going to be interesting. I'm excited.
yeah, and you've got your character values, which they did a pretty good job, I think, of picking the ones that best fit the characters. Um, and if you feel in the course of the adventure that one of them is going to get challenged, you can. They have a mechanic built in to help to let you challenge your value for advantage and rewrite a new one. Just true to the show and the motif of always changing your worldview. I don't think it'll come up, but it's a nice feature.
Okay.
And also characters have various focuses to represent like their specialized fields in their career in Starfleet, and those can also help you as well. So um, every character's got their strengths, and again, don't worry about picking the party to those strengths. Pick the party based on who you want to play.
Have you got any hints around what the missions might be?
So the crew of the Enterprise E, because it was voted on that we will be um, using the Enterprise E, even though the ship itself isn't going to get involved. So this will be a fun little trip because we've so rarely seen things going on there.
Mhm.
They will be encountering a situation that will be kind of interesting if dealing with the Prime Directive.
Okay.
I think this one's got some good role play opportunities for it, to kind of challenge those, to challenge the boundaries of the Prime Directive, have those questions asked, and then also some good challenges along the way, and even some action towards the end. And I think it'd be interesting because we've always seen these Prime Directive challenges during the TV series, and they're still building up in their career. Now let's look at it through the lens of they're on the Enterprise E, so they're all years into their careers. They're
Yes.
veterans in their careers.
Yes. So that should be good. That should be interesting. What about the Ent era?
They will be dealing with a mystery. Um, so it'll kind of start out in media res, where they're going to be dealing with some territorial folks that keep moving their borders and then getting mad at everybody that's suddenly inside the border where it wasn't yesterday.
Ah, that's cool.
Uh, and then mysteriously, the warp core is going to start acting up, and it's going to lead back to the refueling station that the Enterprise had just visited a few days ago. And so now the trick is, why is this state? Can you get to the station? It's going to be a mess. And now the mystery is, what happened to the station, and is that also happening to Enterprise?
Ooh, I like that. That's gonna be fun.
So it's going to be an interesting one. with uh, with the Enterprise E, I will make sure that we do just as we did with First Contact and Insurrection, where Worf is going to be visiting from Deep Space Nine, so nobody needs to worry about that.
Solid.
And if we have enough, or if there's actually, so the options for the characters are all the bridge crew of Enterprise NX-01 plus one, and I may throw him in as an option just because he could make things even more interesting.
Mm.
You want to take a guess?
Wesley?
Not what? No, NX-01.
Oh, NX. Oh, okay. Sorry, that was me. Oh, Daniels.
Nope, not Daniels.
Ah, okay. Then I am out of ideas.
They made a sheet for Commander Shran.
Ooh, that's interesting. I like that.
So we could have some. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and put him on the availability. He will be
Yes.
he. So we'll Commander Shran will be visiting Enterprise, and that could lead to some shenanigans. I think if you want to play as Shran, sign up.
Ooh, I am sure. What we do after this, if you put a list of characters that are available for each one, people can
Mhm.
see it and then we can get them to sign up to it. All right?
We can do that
Yeah.
absolutely, and also too, not to fear if we do end up building a little over that list. This is why I need to know because then I can smudge together a couple more sheets from the supporting cast. So, like from the Enterprise E, for example, uh, we can have Security Officer Lieutenant Daniels from First Contact
Okay.
um, on hand, or on Enterprise, I can get like Assistant Chief Engineer Colby put
That'll be
together.
fun. That'll be fun.
So don't fret if you're looking at the list and you're like, oh man, everybody that I want to play is taken. If we get more than enough, then I'll start opening secondary characters too. But um, again, go for who you want to play. Think about who your favorite character is and get in that mindset because I think that's what's going to be really a lot of fun is taking that moment to role play our favorites that we've seen on screen for so long.
Yeah. It's gonna be the best part, I think. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Other than that, I'm hoping that this will go really well because I already have mentioned that to Pegasus Fleet that I would like to do something similar there as well with this, so that we can try that out. And
Well,
if
they are more than invited to come along to this, it's a open house, so to speak. So,
absolutely,
yes.
yeah, I just like, and also too, if it really takes off, then this may end up being the framework for potentially a Task Force Kittimer activity.
Yes, very much, which we are very excited about, and we're happy to kind of host and poke and, advertise. So it should be a good event, but I think we can leave that there for now, can't we?
Yep, I think we got that. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up because the more I can answer and more put you at ease, then to me that means that you're looking to join.
Yes, very much. But thank you so much for taking your time to speak to us and give us some answers to some of the questions that we've got. All right, thank you.
Thank you.